Across cultures and throughout history, humanity has worshipped a vast array of gods and goddesses. These deities represent the forces of nature, human emotions, and abstract concepts. They populate our myths, legends, and religious texts. But what happens when a god or goddess disappears from the historical record? What if I told you that one of the most important figures in ancient Canaanite religion, a goddess worshipped alongside Yahweh, the God of Israel, has been almost entirely forgotten? This is the story of Asherah, the lost goddess. For centuries, her name was whispered in hushed tones by scholars and archaeologists. Her image, once ubiquitous, faded from view. Her temples crumbled, her altars lay buried beneath the sands of time. How could a goddess so central to the religious landscape of the ancient Near East simply vanish? The answer, it turns out, is a complex tale of religious and political upheaval, of shifting power dynamics and the deliberate suppression of a once powerful feminine deity. Join me as we delve into the enigmatic world of Ashera, uncovering her hidden history and exploring the impact of her erasure on our understanding of ancient religions. This journey will take us from the sun-drenched ruins of ancient cities to the dusty archives of museums, where fragments of pottery and ancient texts hold the key to unlocking the secrets of Ashera, the forgotten goddess. Before we can understand the mystery of Asherah's disappearance, we must first understand who she was. In the pantheon of ancient Canaanite gods and goddesses, Asherah reigned supreme as the Queen of Heaven. She was the consort of El, the supreme god, and the mother of the other gods, a powerful matriarch figure. Asherah was revered as the goddess of fertility, motherhood, and love, but her dominion extended far beyond the domestic sphere. Asherah was also associated with the natural world, particularly trees and groves. She was seen as the protector of forests and the source of life-giving rain. Her presence was believed to dwell in sacred trees, and her followers would often erect wooden poles or pillars in her honor. These pillars, known as Asherim, became potent symbols of her power and were found throughout the ancient Near East. Asherah's influence extended beyond the realm of nature. She was also revered as a goddess of wisdom, justice, and royal power. Kings sought her favor, believing that she could grant them victory in battle and prosperity in peace. In many ways, Asherah embodied the feminine principle in its entirety. She was the giver of life, the protector of nature, the dispenser of wisdom, and the source of both love and righteous anger. Now, this is where the story of Asherah takes a surprising turn. As we explore the history of the ancient Israelites and their relationship with Yahweh, we find evidence that Asherah was not simply a foreign goddess to them. In fact, she appears to have been worshipped alongside Yahweh, not as a separate deity, but as his wife. This might seem shocking, considering the strict monotheism that later came to define Judaism. But in the early days of Israel's history, the religious landscape was far more fluid. The Israelites, surrounded by Canaanite culture, were influenced by their neighbors' beliefs and practices. Archaeological evidence and biblical texts suggest that the worship of Asherah alongside Yahweh was widespread in ancient Israel. Inscriptions found at Kuntilet Edrud and Khirbet el-Kom, dating back to the 8th century BCE, invoke Yahweh and his Asherah. These inscriptions, along with references in the Hebrew Bible itself, paint a picture of a time when the worship of Yahweh and Asherah were intertwined. It seems that the concept of a single, all-powerful God had not yet taken hold. Instead, the Israelites, like their Canaanite neighbors, embraced a more complex religious worldview, one that included a prominent role for a powerful goddess. The story of Asherah takes a dramatic turn as we move into a period of significant religious and political upheaval in ancient Israel. The rise of monotheism, with its emphasis on a single, all-powerful God, posed a direct challenge to the worship of Asherah and other Canaanite deities. As the Israelites sought to distance themselves from their neighbors and establish a unique religious identity, Asherah became a casualty of this theological shift. The movement towards monotheism was driven by a number of factors. Prophets like Elijah and Isaiah railed against the worship of foreign gods, seeing it as a betrayal of Yahweh. They preached a message of religious purity and demanded exclusive devotion to Yahweh. This theological shift coincided with a period of political instability and external threats. The rise of powerful empires like Assyria and Babylonia put pressure on the Israelites to consolidate their religious beliefs and practices. In the face of these challenges, the worship of a single, all-powerful God offered a sense of unity and strength. The worship of Ashera, once an integral part of Israelite religion, was deemed incompatible with this new monotheistic worldview. Her images were destroyed, her temples torn down, and her name erased from religious texts.